All right, welcome to our teacher back to school night. We're so excited to see you here. Excited to get started. I wanted to introduce a few individuals. I'm Christine Tobin, Chief Operating Officer for Young Investor Society. I have with me today Will Landers. Will is our new Executive Director. Will, if you wanted to say do a little introduction.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here with you. I'm in my second month here with YIS. Very excited to join the organization and look forward to working with many of you over the next weeks, months, quarters, and years to come.
Perfect. I also have Diana Myers. Diana is our Access Initiative Coordinator who's joined us this evening.
Hi, everyone. So glad to see you all on the call today. Looking forward to hearing from our teachers.
And I also have Maria Miles. Maria Miles is our event coordinator for the GYIS event, who's joined us this evening as well.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Excited to talk more about how the year is going to go.
Fantastic. All right, so just for the purposes of kind of agenda for this evening, I want to go over a little bit of our overview. We have insights and best practices with our teacher panel. We have Mr. Wei Wang from the YIS advisor at QD Learning. I also have Omar Naranjo from Timpview High School in Utah, who's joined us today. We're going to share best practices, common challenges and solutions, and then we'll do a Q&A session with the rest of our teachers. We're going to do a getting started and growing your club session for tips on for new YIS advisors, for launching strong, strategies for returning advisors, to re-engage and expand YIS clubs, as well as student engagement ideas and success stories. Then we'll do a little bit of YIS program updates for the 2025-2026 year. We have a couple of updates on our calendar for the Knowledge Bowl, the Dollar a Day Challenge, as well as our upcoming Community Champions. And then, of course, we also will discuss our GYIS event. We have Karsten Walker joining us. Karsten is a YIS board member as well as a former YIS advisor. And he has attended the GYIS event and helped as a volunteer for the last 2 years. And so he has great insight about that event. And then Maria Miles will go over some of the details of that event, as well as the registration, important information regarding registration, opening and closures. And then we're going to end with our Access Initiative. Diana Myers is going to go over some of the GYIS deadlines and resources for our Access partners. And then we'll have a Q&A session about the rest of that. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to get started with our teacher panel. Omar and Wei, if you just want to, we'll start with Omar. If you just kind of want to give us an overview of your experience as a YIS advisor, kind of share your story, any kind of challenges you faced, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here with you. And well, I've been teaching here in Utah for 8 years already. I originally teach math and teach algebra pretty much. 3 years, almost 4 years ago, I had the assignment to teach mathematics of personal finance. That's part of the Utah State curriculum. And one of the challenges was trying to figure out not only designing or planning everything related to the personal finance class. So because I needed to find more resources, I had the chance to meet Perry Ho, who had been involved with YIS, and he was new in at TeamView. So we had a really nice conversation one day, and he told me many really good things about YIS, and somehow it had a lot of the things that I was looking for. It had been my second year teaching mathematics of personal finance. So at the beginning of the 2024-2025 school year, I had the opportunity to introduce my students to YIS. And it was interesting because then I am from Colombia, and many of my students who come from different Latin American countries find it's easier for me to strengthen relationships with them. So the way I could eventually work with students were pretty much with many of those who have Hispanic heritage. So that's what happened in 2024, 2025. And what the expectations were for 2025, 2026 was trying to move on with that good foundation we had. But then I I was told that I was going to teach other basic like mathematics one classes, and I had to let personal finance go. So it was okay. I'm going to probably go into more details now, but that's the background I can tell you. And probably as we move on, and I can provide more details about what the experience has been. But this year has been quite a little bit more interesting, but pretty much because of Perry Ho, who had been involved with YIS, then that's how we could start a good experience here at Teamview High School. And this is the second year we have been doing the YIS club at Teamview High School.
Omar, how many students do you have in your club?
So this year we had clubs days during the second week of school. So we had an enrollment of 10 or 12, but actually, I mean, currently we have like 6 or 7 attending. We try to meet every week. And yeah, that's what we've been doing so far.
Perfect. Wei.
All right. All right. Good afternoon. Good evening. So nice to meet you. My name is Wei. I am at the Southern California region. So my background is, my day job is really, I do coaching, mentoring for high school students. So official title is Independent Educational Consultant. So I actually came across YIS through one of the students' parent. I think about 5 or 6 years ago, and she just came to me saying, "Hey, wait, do you actually offer any financial literacy or business training program?" Then she showed me the YS program. So back then, I have no clue. I'm interested. I'm an investor myself, but never thought about teaching this, right? But as I look into this a little bit more, I thought, you know what? This is investing is one of my like hobby passion. I said, why don't I actually look into this? So I actually teach computer science on the community college side. So usually I just do one-on-one coaching, not so much on the group coaching. I said this might be a fantastic opportunity for me to jump into the actual teaching for the high school students. So 5 years ago, I started to just have a local club. So my setting is not the sort of the public school setting. It's more independent, like a club setting, right? So the program started, and it's been going on pretty strong in the past 5 years. My students are pretty involved, especially all the program that YS provides. And I think the biggest challenge for me, it's not so much on because all the students I have, they're self-selecting. They want to do this, so they come to me. And but I do have a little bit retention issues here and there because it's going to be essentially a 1-year program. And for students who want to do more, I mean, they can continue doing the same thing and doing the competition. So I wish there may be more that we can level up for them. That's one. And second thing is maybe just sort of the turnaround time. I think the global stoppage it's fantastic, but I do have a little bit issue like having all the students turning in all the deliverables. It is pretty heavy in terms of workloads if they start pretty late. There's no way to finish it like in 3 weeks, right? So we all know that takes a little bit of time. So I think that pacing for sure is something I've been working on. Like this year, I have more ideas how to improve it, which we can share a little bit more.
Perfect. Omar, did you want to share some kind of one of your best practices that you have currently in your club? Like what's worked for you?
Okay, yeah, sure. So I think that I would also like to share another part of what or of how I have been involved with YIS, and it's as I mentioned, I am from Colombia, and one of my brothers, he's a principal at a public school over there, and I told him about the program, and he was really interested in it, and he talked with um, teachers who teach economics and finances at his school. And one of the things that I consider really important is how, because of his involvement as an admin, he's been able to, or his school has been able to implement the program I would say in a remarkable way. They have currently, probably the numbers are a little bit not accurate, but around 90 students enrolled, and those teachers have implemented the program as part of their curriculum in their classes. So it's been really useful. And actually, since in Colombia, the school year starts in February and finishes in November. So it took them a little bit at the beginning of that school year between February and May, the first semester, but eventually they made it work. So now that their school year is about to finish, they have a big number of students who are going to have some sort of completion certificate. So going back to that first idea is how that level of involvement of the admins might make a difference. In contrast to what I have run into in my school, probably because there are so many things for them to do here, and they have so many things on their plate. It's been a little bit challenging in terms of what I can promote, and there are certain restrictions in the way that you can promote certain programs and so on. But again, as I have been able to tell them a little bit more about the program, that helps. So I think that's a key aspect of it. Another thing is, Wei mentioned something about the importance of students being, I mean, they are self-motivated by the program. So it's good to find students who are willing to come. In our case, we try to do it weekly as much as possible. So when you have 2 or 3 students who are really motivated about the program, it makes things way easier for you. So one of the things that has worked really well is that they have a GroupMe. They created a GroupMe group, and they encourage themselves to, hey, we try to meet every Thursday here right after school, which might be a little bit challenging. And I know that for you guys who want to be more persistent, I mean consistent in your in meeting, probably during lunch might work better. And that's one thing that I've been thinking about here to so that we are more consistent. And yeah, you have good relationship with students, and that also helps a lot. Because when I have one of my daughters in the club, so it also makes my life easier because I tell her, hey, are they gonna come? Please just make sure that you send messages and so on. And I also mentioned at the beginning that we have a quite a good number of students who have Hispanic background, and because of the fact that we have a good relationship, that they are also motivated by that fact. So last year, many of them were consistent throughout the year, and that was a year when we were learning. There were a lot of things to learn, and we were just getting to understand and know so many things offered by YIS. And this year, probably we're going to be more, we want to try to consolidate all that. So, yeah.
Great, thanks, Omar. I'm going to open it up to the teachers who are on. If you guys have any questions about anything that we discussed with Omar and Wei, you can either raise your hand or you can just unmute.
I have a question
Sure.
for Wei. He mentioned the stock pitch competition and how challenging that is. I just wanted
Yep.
to hear more about that.
Sure.
This is our school's first year doing it, and we have some total beginners, and then we have some kids who've already taken personal finance and investment strategies at our school. So how do you handle that, or how did you handle that? Did you do the competition your first year?
Yep.
I'd just love to
Yep.
hear your experience.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of provide a little bit broader, then we can zoom in on the global start pitch. Is really to tag on the best practice. I think the best thing about YIS is there's so many little programs, little or big program that students can get involved. I think the first thing you want the students to get involved is dollar a day challenge because money talks, right? Money talks. So once, I mean, I have students, they actually first month they join, and lucky for them, they already get the $30 in their Zelle account. So that's bank account. So that's really, really cool. But then you kind of gradually build, right? It's usually in the fall, I do find it's a little bit like I can add a little bit more detail, like resources I use personally. There are other competitions you can get your students involved, but usually what I do is in November timeframe, they need to start thinking about the global start pitch. In the past, I actually follow the YS module by module, but I do find some students find a little bit kind of slow pace because they want to do things. They want to get hands-on, right? The first couple modules, for sure, it's a little bit, all foundational building. So in the past 2 years, I actually flipped the model essentially. I asked them to start analyzing stocks, analyzing company right away. So technically in October, like this month, my students they're already pitching. They're already kind of practicing here and there. So, but in general, I think I recommend maybe before they take on the winter break, they already have some ideas. They want to pick a company during the break and get ready. I personally think a global start pitch, that's a fantastic event. They should be like in spring, they should be dedicated just every week, chip in some work and because there are 3 deliverables. So I think as a new teacher, you do need to pace for them, set milestones. The first thing, we can go really deep, but in general, you can mention about like picking the company, right? Then start doing the pitch, put the presentation together. Then you need to focus on generating a report. Report is always gets my students every single time. They feel like, okay, I've done the pitch, I have done the PowerPoint. Boom, they run out of time putting the report together. Last year, I have 2 students. They finished the pitch, then guess what? It's deadline. They didn't create the report, so they didn't end up turning in. So as a coach, you actually want to help them pace, use Google Classroom, set the deadline, get them turning on time.
Thank you.
I'd like to add something to it, Sarah. And even though our last year was our first year and we got great support from YIS, we scheduled monthly meetings. And I don't know how, well, probably Christine might provide more details about that. So those meetings gave a lot of resources and direction to students, even though we didn't get to participate, but it was a really interesting learning experience, because they could make questions to the people who were in those Zoom meetings, and then the students had the chance to discuss about the things they had learned from the Zoom meetings, and eventually made decisions about what company they were going to choose eventually. And even though, again, I tell you that we didn't get to do it, but that was a great experience, and they learned a lot. So this year, for example, I tell you, my daughter is part of the club, and she told me that this year I really want to do this. And since she's got the experience from last year, I'm pretty sure that she is prepared for that. And I would add that great support we got from the Zoom meetings.
The Zoom meetings were with YIS,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was just you or the whole club?
the club.
Sarah,
Oh, okay.
Sarah, Omar's part of our Access Initiative where we assign mentors to our Access partners. And so these monthly meetings are with an Access mentor. So I would like to add on to what Omar was saying. Even though we have students that are super motivated, it is usually the first year that they do all of the other things before they do stock pitch competition. We see a lot of students kind of just do all of the coursework the first year, and then maybe in the second year do stock pitch competition. Not to say that your advanced students couldn't do it, but that is kind of the trend that we tend to see.
Okay.
I am going to transition a little bit and start going over kind of tips and strategies for returning advisors to kind of re-engage and expand clubs. Any ideas on how to get more students involved in your clubs?
I can share some tips first. I think what I found really work well, one is you want to take advantage of the program, so you want to map it out to give them a roadmap on what they will be doing, especially the potential outcome, right? Especially some of my sophomore and junior year, they might be involving FBLA or DECA as well, right? For those business bond students. But I mean, I have pre-med engineering students because they are looking for extracurricular. I tell them this is a fantastic extracurricular because the return on investment is high. So for FBLA, DECA, it's usually a lot of school here locally in Southern California. It's so crowded, so many students, like hundreds of students could be. So it's very hard for them to do things and then kind of shine through, right? So for YS, a couple things I think I ask the students really try to do it. One is global stock pitch. Second is the CYIA, exam, and finally the CYIA designation. That could be their ultimate goal. For those motivated students, you want to make sure you put that in front of them so they know, hey, this is something they can even put on their resume. So second thing is get students, a core group of students really involved as much as possible. Give them, I know for a regular student club, you have captain, president, VP, right? I actually have them vote other roles. For example, I have a market analyst role. So essentially their job is really to brief us on the market condition, like what's going on with the market. At least minimally give me three news each week, right? Then I also have a VP education. That person, their sole job is really to help study CYA exam. So they're gonna actually create quizzes and then also checking with the students, make sure they're ready. We actually have a set schedule on this is the month we'll be doing CYA exam together. Usually it's November, so it's coming up. My VP education has been busy doing that. And you can give other roles. I mean, it's really, you can be creative or they can come up with their own roles.
Great. Any other kind of best practices and ideas on how to expand your existing club?
I'll chime in a little bit. I was a longtime advisor, and I think uh, having guest speakers is kind of important. Having some social things as well as work time. Um, Coming up with a program of work or goals or calendar for the year. Having students assume leadership roles, starting some kind of communication tool like I think Omar mentioned, the group me or the group chat. So I think just getting organized, getting people assigned roles, having students assume leadership, having a calendar of events, getting guest speakers, having some fun activities as well as the work. Those things seem to really build cohesion and help grow numbers.
Perfect.
I had a
Anyone?
question.
Oh,
I had
yes.
a question. You said fun activities. What kind are there? I've tried to think of that too, because we've been following the curriculum, which is great, but then also trying to inject some fun into the meetings.
Yeah, so I'll give you just a couple of examples of what we used to do. So in the fall time around apple harvest, we would do caramel apples. So I would just bring in a crock pot and melt the caramel, and then kids, put the apples on the sticks, and then they could roll them in different candy bars and things like that. Um, maybe the club goes to a haunted house in October, has a Christmas party or winter holiday event. Um, so like maybe 2 or 3 seasonal things, like an opening social to get everybody there. That's maybe like what I found is free food attracts students. So like a pizza party to open to do your first meeting that they don't have to pay dues or be a member yet or anything, right? And then the 3 or 4 fun social things. And if you do those consistently, the kids talk about them to get their friends to join. Like, oh, and you talk about how to make it better. You do the activity, then you talk about how to make it better the next year. And so just 3 or 4, it doesn't have to be a lot, but 3 or 4 kind of fun social activities. And you might cut it off. So like the first pizza party, and anybody that's interested can come to. The second fall caramel apple activity, anybody can come to. The October Halloween thing, they have to, have done some of the work or paid dues or whatever, right? They have to show some commitment. So you kind of do a few things to get people there, and then once they're there, you kind of deepen their engagement and kind of wean off the people that are just looking for free food or are not that interested.
Cool, thank you.
Can I ask, what are the dues for?
So sometimes at a school you can charge, club dues, and so that might pay for the pizza that you're having. It might pay for the, when you go to the haunted forest or, haunted house. It might provide like a tutor or like a guest speaker to come in and talk about how to really deeply analyze balance sheets or do discount cash flow modeling. So I don't you don't have to, but what I found is charging students dues to join a club puts a little skin in the game for them. And I don't know what other people do. I'm happy to say it could be wrong, right? Like it might not fit for everyone. And I'm sure there's lots of schools that don't charge anything, but I know I would be interested to see what Omar does and what our friend in California does.
Way, yeah.
Yeah, way.
Yeah, I'm the only way, by the way, Karsten. Yeah. Okay, anyway. So I think I have one more thing I want to add. Obviously, all the YS program is fantastic. So, but I do add a little bit competition here and there too. Is not to advertise their program. It's Stock Market Game. That's a fantastic portfolio game. I have my students do. As soon as they learn how to screen the stock, they can actually do it. I wish, Christine, I think that's something we can easily add with with OIS as well. So they learn, because global stock pitch, you just pick a single stock, right? But for stock pitch, they're actually learning how to build a portfolio, which is really, really good.
Yeah, so we currently don't use stock market game only because it kind of interferes with our long-term investment strategy. So we
Okay.
have a lot of schools that do use it.
Yeah.
We as an organization don't use.
Don't, okay.
market
I
game
do find
because of that
sometimes,
long-term.
yeah, that there's some potential conflict. Like the students will ask me, "Oh, can I short this stock?" Usually I don't. I mean, we can. That's one possible possible type of trade, but usually I don't focus on that too much. Yeah.
Yeah, Wei, do you guys charge dues to cover anything, whether it's
We
registration?
do.
fees
We
for-
do. Yeah, because I'm independent. So obviously I charge a fee. I charge a fee. Yep.
Got it. All right, anyone else have any questions? 8 cents in a jar. Your hands up.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Sorry, it's loud where I am, but
worries.
I didn't have a question, but I did want to provide just another free way of what we've done to get our students engaged. So I think like a few of you all have said, all of our students, they're like brand new to investing, but they love social media and they also love sports. So what we've done with the curriculum is have an overlay to tie it into fantasy football and then also TikTok, so they can get it and understand it. So like after they do a module for YIS, they then have to convert it into a TikTok lesson and try to teach others. That way we can do their learning. So once we started doing that, we did see that they have been picking up their knowledge.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
I have an activity to share that
Yeah.
we do in our workshops. So we make this part of every workshop. I called it Financial Feud, and of course I tweaked it a little bit. But what we've done is we bought 2 different buzzers, a red and a blue buzzer, and we create teams. And we just, basically we have the one person that will call out a question or, present some type of information regarding either anything that we're learning or some basic financial information that they've knowledge that they've either acquired through our lessons or just personal and prior knowledge. And so what happens is that competition between the teams basically gets them excited. It's very engaging. They talk about it, and sometimes even before they are really knowledgeable about all of the skills and all of the topics, we even give them an opportunity. Whoever hits the buzzer first, if they get a few minutes, and then they can get in a huddle and talk among each other and share. So somebody might be a little bit more advanced and might be able to assist, or they are even able to maybe do a quick search on the internet for answers. So we found that was a good way to get them talking about it, to get them excited about the information that they're learning, and it creates that competition. So yeah, that's one thing that we do. And then another thing that we're trying to work on is a teen podcast. So we kind of create a platform for them to talk about what they're learning, and that it incentivizes them to be knowledgeable because they've got to talk about it. And, like she said, the social media and, being able to have a podcast, whether they're interviewing each other or interviewing other peers or interviewing other professionals in the industry, they want to sound knowledgeable. So, having to research so that they can present the questions is another way for them to learn and have fun at doing it. So that's one thing we do.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dorn, for sharing. All right, I have a couple of questions in the chat. Let's go ahead and get these. Examples of the fees. I think I've seen as low as $10 up to like $25 for the school year. Usually those fees either go towards a pizza party at the end of the year, maybe stock pitch competition. In the US, it's $25 per student to register for that event. Let's see, one more question. Do your students actually invest? This is a great question. If so, what platforms are they using? We actually have a lot of students who are investing. The platforms they use, usually their parents select the platform because it usually is a custodial account. So usually if the parents are investing, they'll open up a custodial account wherever they're at for their students so that they can kind of overview what that process looks like. What platforms are they using? I think it runs the gamut. I think we use all kinds of stuff. As of right now, we have a pending partnership with Webull. Webull is an online brokerage that we have partnered with for our $1 a day challenge. I think you'll see that come out probably before the end of the year as our official partnership. So they will be our official online partner, and they will have custodial accounts so students can open that up with their parents. And then our $1 a day challenge will be integrated into that Webull account as well. So that's exciting news kind of from our end. Anything else in the chat? No, it looks like we're good. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Wanted to talk a little bit about our upcoming program events that we have during the school year. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our key programs and competitions. One of them being, of course, I think Wei mentioned the $1 a day challenge. $1 a day challenge is this fantastic program where we challenge the students to save $1 a day in an account. It could be a checking account. It could be a savings account. It could be a brokerage account. It could be a custodial account. We just want them to open up any account. If they're able to do that, they watch the 6 videos on personal finance, which are available on our website, and they also do the Kahoot quiz for that month. So every month the Kahoot quiz changes. It's usually roughly 30 personal finance questions based on those 6 videos. They take the Kahoot quiz and then they apply for the $1 a day challenge. There's a little checkbox on the $1 a day challenge application that basically states, I've watched the videos, I've opened up an account, and I'm ready to, be matched with my scholarship match. We select anywhere from 30 to 50 students on a monthly basis, and we give them $30 into a PayPal account or a Zelle account. Again, this could be a personal account, it could be a parent account, it could be a teacher account. Whatever account that they have access to, as long as it's a PayPal or Zelle. And if they're selected, we give them that $30 at the end of the month. So that's kind of our $1 a day challenge in a nutshell for those new to the program. We also want to announce our Knowledge Bowl. Our Knowledge Bowl, I want to say this is our 2nd or 3rd year doing Knowledge Bowl. And what this is a great chance for students to go on and just test their personal finance knowledge. So it's roughly 30 questions. Again, personal finance coming from our personal finance courses and lessons, as well as our Stock Investing 101 handbook that's available on our website for a free download. They read these materials, they take the Kahoot. The Kahoot is open for a week, and we take the top 15 to 20 students and we host the finals live on Zoom. So the finals are a little bit of a different format. We do an analyst for a day competition for the finals. So we give them 3 companies. They have to research these companies. They're learning through quarterly earnings calls and what those look like for these different companies. And so basically the finals is a culmination of all of these things where they've learned. It is definitely open book, but it's whoever knows the answer the quickest, because Kahoot does a speed as well as correct answer. So it's super competitive at the finals. And then we award the students. We have different prizes at different levels for those students who compete in the Knowledge Bowl finals. Both of those, the Knowledge Bowl finals for the last 2 years, I believe, are on our YouTube channel. It's YIS.org. If you want to kind of take a look at what that looks like, you're welcome to do so. Also wanted to talk a little bit about our Community Champions event. Community Champions is basically our community service opportunity that we allow students. Our CYIA designation requires students to do at least 10 hours of community service. This is a great way to get that done. Community Champions, the project is Stock the Shelves. pun intended, with the stock, but it's basically partnering with their local food bank and seeing what items are in need. We usually launch this, it'll launch in November, usually through February, so it gives them a few months. We've noticed that the food banks ask to be filled after the holidays. The holidays kind of cleans them out, and so the goal is to get them replenished and restocked. So students host food drives, non-perishable dry goods, usually canned goods, anything that the pantry needs specifically. And so they ask friends and families, and of course, if they're out of school, other teachers as well as other students to kind of bring, canned good to their club meeting, bring it, to the cafeteria. There's usually a bin or some kind of collection. And then the students partner with that local food bank and give them all of the food at the end of this drive. The other portion of this also is a fundraising effort. So we have a lot of students that get donors, usually parents or other friends of the family, to donate via how much food that they've collected. So we have partners that'll do like $10 per pound of food or $5 per pound of food, and that those funds usually come back to Young Investor Society as a donation for our 25 days of giving at the end of the year. Let's talk a little bit about our global stock pitch competition. I know both Omar and Wei had talked a little bit about that. So, but those of you who are brand new to the program, global stock pitch competition is an online event for the first round where students compile a stock pitch report, a presentation, as well as a YouTube video link. They have those 3 items that they submit. This year, they have to submit by February 20th. For the stock pitch competition. Registration opens December 12th on the MyYIS calendar in the portal once they log in. There's nothing on the calendar now, but by December 12th, all of the different state events will be listed. It is $25 per student. We give our access partners an access code, and that'll be released. Diana will send that out to you prior to opening registration so that you guys all have those. We also do not charge students that are international for the event either. All stock pitch reports and presentations are due by February 20th. We announce the top 100 teams by March 30th. And then all of those students will be invited to the GYIS event in May 28th and 29th in New York City. And speaking of the Global Youth Investment Summit, I'm going to hand it over to Maria, who's going to do kind of a deep dive into the GYIS event and what that looks like.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen just with a couple of notes on here. So what is the Global Youth Investment Summit? So this is an expansion of the global stock pitch competition. So the stock pitch competition has been going on for many years, but we've been growing it every year so that now it's this full 2-day student conference, which includes the final rounds of the global stock pitch competition. But also we have many other competitions we've added. We have workshops, we have networking, great speakers. The students really get a full event. So this is intended for any student that is registered with YIS. It is not meant to be just for those who qualify to attend as stock pitch top 100 teams. So someone had the question earlier of, how do students get prepared for the stock pitch? One great way for them to, especially if it's their first year doing this as a student, is, work through all of that content we have and then attend this event. They'll get to do workshops that will prepare them. They'll get to network with professionals who do this every day for a living. And then they'll also get to see the top teams present and really see the best of their peers in action. So it's a great experience all around within the finance world for them, but also is great preparation if they're interested in moving forward and competing in the future. It will be again in New York City on Roosevelt Island. And it's an awesome location for us because we're at Cornell Tech They have great, beautiful new facilities. And Roosevelt Island, if you're not familiar, it's on the east side of Manhattan. It's its own little tiny island. And so the students are contained nicely. When they step out the doors of Cornell Tech, they're not, released into the bustling streets of Manhattan. They're on this quiet little island. So it's very safe. It is very friendly for getting around. And there is an option. There's a hotel right there on site. And so you can be just steps away from the venue. You're not required to stay there. You can find other options, but there is that available. So now timeline, we've opened early registration already. It is $150 right now if you do the early registration, and that lasts all the way until February 1st. At that point, we move to regular registration, and the fee goes up to $250. Neither of these cover the entire cost of having each student at the event, but it does help us offset some of the expenses. The students who qualify as the top 100 stock pitch teams, because they're invited after the early registration closes, we still do offer them the early registration cost when they register as a top team. So they don't need to worry about paying the higher fee there. And then just switch to these dates. So as Christine said, the stock pitch submission will be due February 20th. And then those teams who make it will all be announced by March 30th. So we'll close registration completely for all students on April 10th. So hopefully those deadlines make sense. If you ever have questions about them, you can reach out to me anytime. But a couple of things to note: if students do register early, it does give them a couple of advantages. Last year, we were able to secure a couple of extra events the night before the event at Cornell Tech. So we had one at Bloomberg headquarters and one at JP Morgan headquarters. And because these are smaller events, we aren't able to accommodate every student that attends GYAS. And so the students that register first in this early round are given priority to attend these extra events. We're hoping to, again, secure both Bloomberg and JP Morgan, and then potentially add a couple of more sites. Those aren't confirmed yet, but once they are, we'll announce those, and then students, again, who are early registrants will get priority for that. They will also get first selection priority for session. So, within those 2 days when they're attending at Cornell Tech, we have all the different workshops they can choose from, the networking, the different competitions, and they self-select that. So when your students go in and register right now, they may have some questions about this. So you should have in your teacher emails, and they should have in their student emails the address they go to, but it's 2026 GYIS.sketch.com, I believe. They'll go on there. They need to register individually. So you don't go in and register as a club, but they go in as an individual student. They create a profile within Sketch, and then they'll go on and select their ticket and register. But right now, the session selection is closed. So they may have questions about, like, I can see that there's workshops, but I wasn't able to get into any. And that's because it's not open yet. We're still finalizing the schedule. So they can see a sample, which was last year's schedule, but it will probably be modified slightly as we finalize who all of our attendees are. The GYS advantage, I think Wei mentioned this, there's a lot of other really excellent club experiences that students can have, but the advantage for YAS, and specifically at the Global Youth Investment Summit, is that students really have incredible access to finance professionals. When you come to this event, the students get to directly interact with professionals, hundreds of professionals from all the top firms across New York City. They get to do it through the mentoring session, where they get to chat one-on-one with those individuals, ask them about their career path, their education, how they got there. They can ask for their card, they can potentially stay in touch or connect on LinkedIn. But it's direct access to professionals that is really unique and really gives students an advantage over peers who, maybe just learn things in theory, but don't get to have that kind of real world connection. And then additionally, we have those extra events that I mentioned where they get to go into actual headquarters of financial firms. They get to see what it's like to be in that business setting, to, again, connect with professionals in a setting like that and prepare for some of those interactions. And then on top of all of that, if they do choose to compete in the competitions that we have there, there's some amazing prizes. The Global Stock Pitch winner takes home $5,000, which is very unique in student events. And then what they is probably even more life-changing for the students is top students also receive an internship at a financial firm. So, they get the experience, they get the funding to start their investing in their future, and they get a lot of mentorship and knowledge. So it's a great event. We love interacting with the students there and seeing all the connections they make with each other, with board members, with other professionals there. And we're excited to keep building it and making it better every year, and look forward to hopefully seeing all of you there as their supporters as well.
Fantastic. Thanks, Maria. Karsten, I'd like for you to share just a little bit about your experience at the event and what our teachers can expect from it.
Yeah, so I didn't know what to expect. My wife and I retired from teaching and had loved YAS and wanted to still be around it. And so we decided to go and volunteer. And it literally blew me away, like just how well the students were prepared, the variety of events, it was so fun for us as volunteers, but we could also see just the program and the event working for students, how students were able to find friends, people they could relate to, have things in common with, kind of, I think you called it like their tribe or their group that they belong with, and that sense of belonging, and then all the tangible benefits of speaking in public and presenting and doing all the research and answering the tough questions from judges. And win or lose, those are valuable things that, as Wei said, can go on their resume and help them stand out to colleges and universities and for scholarships. And so it was, and then the events at Bloomberg and JP Morgan and traveling around New York City and things like that. It's an amazing venue with great opportunities for students.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Karsten. I'm going to give it over to Diana, who's going to talk a little bit about our Access Initiative and specifically some deadlines for GYIS, as well as resources available for our Access partners.
Perfect. Thank you, Christine. So a couple of our deadlines have changed just a bit this year. So probably most of you have already received an email from me with the updates, but an important one is to our scholarship application. So those are going to be due January 9th. And that's for clubs that maybe travel out of state, that might need assistance with some of the travel cost, the registration cost for GYIS. And then another change will be that the scholarships will be reviewed and awarded by January 30th. So we're doing that to give students more time to finalize and plan their trips, and also work on their own fundraising to make up maybe for, the clothing, suitcases, whatever else they might need to help get to GYIS. But really overall, our goal is to really help the students attend, help them experience what GYIS is, because like everyone has talked about before me, it's an amazing experience. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to network, to see potential career paths, and just really like, you know, a great way to come together with like-minded students. Another thing that Omar touched on earlier is the mentor calls that we are able to offer our students. So again, that's something where we can set it up to where it's monthly or quarterly, whatever really works. We're very flexible with your students' schedules. And for those of you who are interested, you can reach out to me. Again, I'm Diana Myers. And we can set up mentor calls via Zoom with your students to help really prepare them for just going through the YIS lessons and overall eventually get them to where they are comfortable with the stock pitch program.
Excellent. Thanks, Diana. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we just covered? Maria with the GYIS event, Diana with the Access program. Any questions around those items? You can just unmute.
Sorry, I'm in, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, sorry, I'm in a crowded spot, so I'm just kind of in the back here. One of my students had suggested, because I don't know how much fundraising we're going to be able to do, is just limiting it to the 11th and 12th graders that are in the club. Has anybody done that and left the underclassmen, you know, kind of to keep them intact for the next couple of years as a goal to get to the GYS summit?
Yeah, I will say I have heard of several clubs adding extra requirements in order for students to attend GYS. I know specifically of one where they have to have completed an entire year with the club, and then it's the next year that they're able to travel to GYS. So yeah, I think that's totally reasonable to figure out what are the best you know, parameters for your club to make that happen and how to best allocate your resources. We would love to have everyone there, but we understand that you know, sometimes you need to have limits and figure out how to best allocate that.
And one more additional question. So we're a brand new club, so we're all in our first 2 months. We haven't even been approved by the local school board yet. And what they need from me is a mission and a goals of the club kind of thing. Do you guys have any information on that you can kind of forward, and I can put that in front of the school district?
Yes, we do, Chris. I can send that your way. I'll get that to you by the end of the week.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your questions. Anyone else have any questions about the GYIS event or Access Initiative?
I have a quick question. Well, Diana, if you could also send to me what you're sending to Chris, that would be great. And I'm wondering if anyone has ever, I'm in a very unusual situation, and basically, you know, we're a nonprofit extracurricular rowing program primarily for low-income students, and I'm college access, college success, and career readiness. So basically, I've been told, you know, I do not have the time allotment to lead a full-on club, and it would just be me. So we're going to kind of jump in and do all the great offerings you have I have that whole list of 6 of them, but the $1 a day knowledge bowl, community champ, all the stuff, including hopefully the stock pitch competition. Has anyone ever kind of done that? And our junior board is basically made up of 100 young professional investment bankers in New York City. So we have lots of access to support for our students, but I will not be able to take our students through the curriculum.
Yeah, so Felicia, we actually have, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of Young Investor Society, right? Is the flexibility. I would definitely make sure that your students are registered and that the option for them to go through it on their own is there as well. No one actually has to guide the lessons. All of our lessons have a video component where they just watch the video and then they go through the activity and the lesson and take the quiz at the end. This is definitely something that can be done as homework on their own at their own time. I would definitely push for that, but absolutely being involved in all of the different program events. It's fantastic. Whatever you can provide for them would be great.
Okay, just wondering if that works. I mean, and I will meet with them. It just, you know, their primary focus is school and then rowing, and we're the extra piece. So, okay, thanks.
You're very welcome. Anyone else? As we wrap it up, we're at time. I have something quickly to share with everyone. I want to make sure that you guys know that we are here for you. We have a list of resources available to you. One of them is office hours with our new executive director, Will Landers. So Will has graciously opened up his office. We're still working on the logistics of it, but somewhere weekly, bi-weekly, whatever that looks like, for teacher support. So if you need just some one-on-one time in front of someone to bounce ideas, or how to get your students more engaged, or how to get them to the level for the stock pitch competition, whatever that looks like, Will Landers has graciously offered to help you guys out with that. So his email is wlanders@yis.org, and you can set up an open office hour with him. We also have our YIS newsletter that comes out every month that basically has all of the different programs that are wrapping up, as well as the new ones coming in. And then we also have a weekly YIS email that you guys get. And please follow us on our social media channels. This is where everything comes out first, on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. All right. And that concludes our back to school night. Thank you so much for attending. It was lovely to meet all of you. And I wish you guys a great rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. Good
Bye,
night.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.